What's going on? Got another episode of the 30-minute Rivals here on A House Divided. I got with me, as always, myself, it's Marcus. Got Johnny Odin with me. How we doing today, Johnny?
Doing well, doing well. What's going on?
Man, I wanted to come in here and talk about some off-season work. We're a little late to the party, so we'll be talking about departures, additions, what we'd like to see going forward, and a little bit of head into spring ball talk. Maybe we'll mention the Reliant Quest Bowl in and out of there. It's not all that consequential, but it'll get mentioned. Before we do all that, y'all know the deal. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe if you're new. We're here every Tuesday, most likely during the week, and then we do the college football kickoff shows, big at 11 on Saturdays. When the Big Ten season, regular season is usually going, and we'll probably have it going for our games as well. So, come kick it. College football talk always. So I guess let's talk departures really quickly. It ain't really. I don't think we lost anything to me on the Michigan side, at least that hurts too much. Adam Samaha, I think, was a very good pickup, but the writing was kind of on the wall when your boy Savada came back. When he said he was coming back for another year, I don't think Samaha was gonna sit around too much longer. He was already a sophomore, so he was a very highly rated kicker coming out of high school. So
Yeah,
he's gonna go get it in at North Carolina there with Bill Belichick. You know, Bill Belichick loves kickers, so I'm sure he'll
Hey,
put him together.
always use a kicker.
Mm-hmm. Another one up on here, junior 6'4" out of Apple Valley, my boy Jaden Denegal. That one was kind of that writing was on the wall probably about halfway through the season when we still hadn't seen Jaden get any time. Honestly, throughout the season, you heard Jayden Davis's name more than Jaden Denegal, to be honest. So not much of a surprise there. He has also found a home. He's going to San Diego State.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't
yeah,
hear that.
yeah. So group of four team, but still, pretty good program out there throughout the years, decent for the level. He'll have a chance to, go out there, compete, win a job, and put some numbers together. Cole Cabana was another one, I think, that was of note.
He went to Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah, he's out. He's gone to Minnesota. Some of the guys that haven't found homes yet, Alex Orgy in the portal. Miles Pollard, another one in the portal. Tavi Dunlap.
Pollard's in the portal.
Yeah, Miles Pollard is in the portal.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I again, the level of comp is raising, and Miles was a guy who had trouble getting on the field as currently constituted. So you add, a Shamari Earls to that. You add TJ Metcalf to that. You add another year, Josiah Edmond, Sanders, the guy from Texas that they picked up this year. Like there are very talented guys coming into this program, and they're not done adding yet either.
Pollard was a corner, or was he a linebacker?
That's Micah Pollard, who I think also hit the portal. Michael Pollard is the Micah is the linebacker. Miles is the corner.
Okay. I was wondering.
And I don't even know if they related. I don't think they're related.
Yeah. For like Alex Orgy, if I'm him, I'm going to talk to Vanderbilt. If you want to stay Power 4, I'm going to Vanderbilt and I'm going to Boston College.
Yeah. You know what I thought of when he got announced that he was getting his job back?
Or
that
Georgia
I thought
Tech
would be a very good marriage. West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
With
Rich
Rodriguez. Yep. I don't know how it's gonna work out team wise. Rich Rod was always one of those guys that kind of let defense fall by the wayside. He was he was Lincoln Riley before Lincoln Riley. One of them guys that had high flying offenses, but just never really committed to doing anything real on the defensive side. But for Alex Orgy, I think his next stop has to be a place where somebody believes in his ability to play quarterback. Obviously, that's why he's transferring. I think they probably more than likely offered him an option to play another position to try to start repping now to get into that. To be honest with you, I wouldn't have took it either because they never really gave him the shot that he deserved to play it in the first place. So now you telling me to go play
That's true.
fullback or H back or something like that. Like the hell with that. I'll go transfer.
I hate
So
it for him. I hate it for Alex Orji for a couple reasons. When he was a freshman or a sophomore, I said they need to change. They need to change his position to
to get him
DN
on
or
the field or something.
linebacker or
Yeah.
something. You know, get it just to get him on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you got NFL dreams like your brother, bro, you're built like a linebacker, like literally. You're never going to be a starter in the NFL at quarterback. Probably never even a backup. You too far gone. Like you'd have to do something amazing for that to
Yeah,
happen.
unless he turns into one of those 5, 6, 7 year guys and really changes his game. But
It
he's at a
ain't like
spot where you would expect a young quarterback to be, and he's a junior. You
yeah,
know, they just haven't invested enough in it for it to come to pass.
like bro, if I'm him, which he's in a little, he wasted some time here. I ain't gonna front his career. He wasted it, but like, bro, you're a linebacker, like. You're a linebacker. He ain't a tight end. He's too little. He's not big enough to be a tight end. He's a
Yeah, but see,
linebacker
it's hard for him to take that though. It's
or
hard
an
for him to
edge.
hear that because he spent a whole offseason training to be the quarterback and got 2 games that he
I mean,
won.
he's
That he
trained
won.
his whole college career. He's trained to be a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I
different
get it.
circumstances, different coaches, it works out differently. Now, you're right. It's either if you want to go to the NFL, you're closer
That's
to
changed.
doing that at another position today. Who am I to tell Alex Orji he can't have a meteoric rise at another school if he believes he can be a quarterback? I think he should go chase it. You know,
I'm not
go
knocking
get
him.
it.
I'm just saying, you know, it's just the reality.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're not wrong. Nothing you saying is wrong because he has the physical profile that he can make a difference on the football field. That was my argument the entire season. It is what it is. It's just, is he going to invest in it? You know, when I was pitching my Mike, now that we can talk about it, my Mike Loxley dreams, right? The guy that I had my thoughts on for Alex Orji was Dante Demas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he came in as a quarterback, but he was kind of like an undersized tight end, only about 6'2", 6'3", but they threw him the ball all the time. He'd take the ball on jet sweeps. They would find ways to get the ball in his hands, right? And he would put up production. Perfect spot. Perfect spot for Alex Orji to be in. But again, he has to believe in it. You know, he got to believe that that's the course that's going to get him where he want to be. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It is what it is, though. Now, we'll just kind of see where the cards fall. But that's really, other than that, I don't really see anything else that I'm too worried about losing.
Mm-hmm.
Davis Warren's still around. He hasn't transferred yet.
I thought he was out of years.
I thought he was too. So I don't know what's going. I don't know if he's trying to apply for another year. I don't know if he's going to be a coach. They
So
asked him about it this week, and he was real cryptic, like, "Oh, Sharon Moore wants me to be around the program, but he's doing what's best for the program at the same time." I don't know what any of that means.
when did he get here? 2020.
20. It would have to be in 2020. Yeah, fall 2020.
So he's
Or
probably got a red
yeah.
shirt in there because I don't think he played in a lot of these games. Not 4 in some of these years.
So it would have been 2020, and then that would have been his COVID year. Then 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he got that COVID year too.
Yep. COVID year. So, I mean, yeah, you can come back and technically, because you have a red shirt, you didn't use it, and you only had the one COVID year. You can come back and do a 5th year. For me, if Davis Warren is going to be involved with the program, I feel like it should be more in a GA capacity. Let's start maybe building the next quarterback coach at Michigan. Let's start building the next offensive coordinator at Michigan. Because just like you said about Alex Orji, what is the pathway for you to play there? If we're talking about Davis Warren playing quarterback at Michigan again, what's the pathway? There isn't one. Those doors are closed now.
No.
And it maybe sound harsh to say that, but those doors are closed. So the best way he can help the team is in a capacity to start pushing his career forward.
Now, if
Maybe
he comes back and it's between him and Bryce, start Bryce.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be between him and Bryce. That's not even a thing. That's not a thing. If I hear Davis Warren's name in the middle of a competition this spring, I'm going to lose my shit, Johnny. So please don't say that. Okay,
Just saying.
that's not a thing at all.
I'm
But
just saying.
you set up an interesting segue here before we get to the additions. One of the names that didn't show up in the departures that I found very interesting, and that I've kind of been toying with some ideas here, man, about a couple different scenarios. But I think it's very interesting, especially when you have guys like Billy Edwards and Miller Moss dodging the smoke.
No.
Dodging the smoke. Oh my God. Number one recruit in the oh, I don't want that. No, I want guaranteed. I want to start. I want you to promise me that you're gonna rub my butt and that I can be the starter. That's what I want. And at a time where there are fourth year players, fifth year seniors doing that, being scared of a freshman. Hey, Jaden Davis has not transferred out of this program yet. Aaron Nolan's already in the portal.
No, he buried.
He
Was
didn't even
buried.
let it come around to the spring to get in there with saying, or I mean, he's had a whole season, so he knows where he stacks up. But in terms of Tavian St. Clair or whether or not they've already given saying the job, Devin Brown was gone. Will Howard gonna be gone. It seemed like it was gonna be a neck and neck. He's in the portal.
He wasn't even traveling with the team.
Oh, I didn't know that.
To on like away games, they weren't taking him.
Oh, he wasn't dressing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, not a 5-star. Yeah, no, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I can't sit on the sideline in my jersey. Gotta go. Gotta go.
It seemed like you would give him that.
Yeah, gotta go. I can't even. Oh no, gotta go. Y'all went to Wrigley Field. I had to stay home and watch it on TV. No, I'm hitting the portal. I'm gone.
So they still got Lincoln Kingholz, right?
Yeah, he hasn't transferred, but I think as he knows where he's at on the depth chart, he's probably comfortable with it if he hasn't transferred by now.
This in Kinetic was, I don't know if you've seen Voice of College Football last night, the call in with Kinetic and TJ.
I haven't seen it on.
Kinetic went on a real a long little tirade about this stuff in the new age of college football. Guys don't want to sit behind. Guys don't want to come to Michigan and get developed and beat out the young guy. Those days are over. I mean, I'm old school too, but they're pretty much over unless you're coming in as a 5-star with them already. For the most part, it's done.
Now that's the caveat though, right? You have to come in with a profile yourself. Now, the days of the underdog, like you Stetson Bennett and you got JT Daniels behind you, yeah, those days are probably done. Like the way that you're stacking your rosters now and paying guys, you're probably not ever going to start a walk-on over a 5-star because that's what makes you feel more comfortable. That's what got Kirk Campbell fired. And it wasn't even that demonstrative. It wasn't even a 5-star. It was just a more talented guy. Anyways, going forward, I don't think it's going to be that bad. But when you start talking about a former number one player overall himself, when you talk about a guy who had Michigan falling at his feet when he was going through his own recruiting cycle, and the thing that intrigues me about Jaden Davis is that the demeanor and the posture has never changed. That means he has confidence in himself. When he got recruited to come to Michigan, they were already talking Bryce Underwood. Their eyes were already set on the number one player in the 2024 class or 2025 class, excuse me. Yeah. It was already there. It was a part of the conversation during the recruiting process. I feel like I remember a report with Sam Webb where he was talking to his father and his dad was talking like, yeah, man, we sit with their parents at the games or we talk to them at the games. We want him to come here. We want to compete. He doesn't get better unless there is somebody there to force him to be better. And that is the point of competition at this level of football. You made a point about that guys are not going to sit around and wait and sit their turn. The biggest example I can put to that, to push back against that, is Arch Manning. Arch Manning has every reason, from his talent to his pedigree, to what he's been able to show on the field so far, to say, you know what, this year, the year that Quentin Ewers just played, I should have spent this somewhere else. He's at Texas. He's the backup, slated to be the starter in his junior season, and he can be a 2-season and outer, just like Quentin Ewers was a 2-season and outer. And then now everybody going to be going back to Sark like he the new quarterback Jesus, or he's back to being quarterback Jesus. Right? It worked out for Texas. They were able to get a number 1 player in the country when they already had a bona fide starter on the roster. They were able to do it. And not only land him, but keep him there on the bench for 2 years. Now, they played him. But he's not the guy. Hell, year 1, he didn't even look like the guy. We put a lot of expectations on these kids because of their rankings, because of these companies. That these recruiting services do not dictate football on the field, right? That's why they acquiesce so much to other experts when it comes to actually breaking down film and talking about week-to-week football. Their realm is recruiting. It's recruiting, not how Bryce Underwood necessarily stacks up versus the rest of college football, where there are grown men playing in there right now. So we have to wait and see how that plays out for him. But the way I see it is that if you're a more experienced quarterback, if you've been in the system, if you have the requisite ranking or pedigree, right? Like Jayden Davis isn't a slouch. He's obviously not as highly rated as Bryce Underwood, but he's a year ahead. He's been playing college football for a year. Theoretically, he should be further along in read progressions. He should be further along in where his feet are. He should be further along in timing. He should be further along in command. He should be.
The problem with him is that throwing motion. Have you seen it?
I'm not going. You talking about the practice clip stuff, right?
Yeah.
Dog. I'm just not that. I'm not a hyperbolic person. So if I got to see Jayden Davis actually playing a game and the motion was causing him to be late or errant or inaccurate, it would make me worried. The clips that we're seeing, I can't react to that because I didn't even see the end of the play. I can't really see if the ball was completed. I didn't see where it was placed at. It was clips for somebody else. It was cut-ups for another player. That's why I would like to see him play in a bowl game.
So you do want to see him in the bowl?
What is the benefit of us playing Davis Warren in this bowl?
I mean, there isn't one.
There is no benefit to us playing Davis Warren at all. Like, play Jayden Davis.
That's what I say. It don't bother me, put him in. Even if he has the Byron, I call it the Byron Leftwich.
I want to see it. Because if it gets there on time, and the one thing that we knew about Jayden Davis coming out of high school, he'll throw downfield. Yeah. He'll push that ball downfield. He threw to Channing Good when he was throwing to Jordan Ship. He had big-time wide receivers on the outside in high school. So if he sees big targets on the outside, which is what Michigan is trying to get, what they're trying to change to, they have an offensive line that can defend him. I don't give a shit if he's swinging it out like a yo-yo. Is it getting there? Is it getting there?
That's what I said.
I don't. I'm not mad at the scenario that says Jayden Davis is better than he was given credit for. He's the most accurate quarterback through spring. We get to fall. It's him and DeQuan Finn, or it's him and whatever senior quarterback it is. And then somehow he plays in the first game. I'm not mad at that because whatever quarterback they're getting this year is a 1-year rental anyways. And it's only there to raise the floor of the room. He's not there to save Michigan. We're not getting a portal quarterback to be there for 3-4 years. So if he don't win, it ain't the end of the world. And then if Bryce does win, we got a one. We got a star.
Yeah. It's just the pressure. These dudes don't want that pressure to be, well, most dudes don't want the pressure of, well, this dude is making 2.5 a year, and the fan base, because when a drive or two and the Boo Birds, we will be booing you. I mean, I'm not at the game, but the Michigan fans, they're gonna boo you, So the pressure of that, and can you handle it? It's not just one thing to have pressure. Yeah, it's pressure. You either rise to it or you don't. Like Ohio State, Kyle McCord, he couldn't handle the pressure of the Ohio State fans. He couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
It bothered him.
Yeah.
You know, another player, he can handle it. You know, I'm
You
that
gotta
dude.
have that. You gotta have that demeanor, man. You have to be solid in here.
But
You know.
everybody's not built like that. You
Yeah.
know, some
Mhm.
dudes can hit the clutch free throws. Some dudes can't. You know,
Yeah. I'm hoping I'm right. I could be wrong. You know, this all could change in a few weeks after the bowl, and your man's could be right in the portal. I for one think that the fact that he's still here says a lot, especially when you look at what's happening across the landscape of college football. It does. It's different. It's different from whatever else is things going on. So that is, I almost love that, the idea of two young guys who were promised to be the future, duking it out to earn that future. I like that more than the idea of let's try to find a quarterback to mentor, right? Because where's it at? Like, even if you're Daquan Finn had 300 yards last year and he had 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So his best years was like 2 years ago at Toledo. You know, he's not coming in as the guy. Like, if it was John Mateer, okay, you gotta straighten up. You know what I'm saying? John Mateer is a dog. He was one of the most efficient quarterbacks last year. Dude's a dude, and he's gonna start. So you have to come correct. I think with Daquan Finn, I think with Mikey Keene, I think with some of those other names, there's some well, I mean, I've been hearing people talking about Bryce taking the job mid-season or before a Big Ten play. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a lot of expectation for a high school kid, man. And if you believe that he can beat the quarterback that you're bringing in that quickly,
It's the point of bringing them in.
yeah, you know,
One of those dudes, especially one of those lower name dudes, like if you had a Miller Moss, that's why we really needed to get him
I thought Miller Moss would have been perfect.
because he can make all of the throws.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a quarterback and he's got a name. He's got some gravitas to him. We saw what he did against us last year in the big house.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, you made a mistake and he diced us up. You know, so the problem is, so you were hoping you were going to get him. You know, the problem with these other dudes, when they do something, they don't have that gravitas. So everybody's gonna be get him out, get this. Why did they get this dude from this small
That I
school?
think that's what they're scared of when they don't play well, knowing that you got Bryce behind you. They don't want to, play Bryce, play Bryce. They don't want to hear that. And I get that. But everybody loves the backup quarterback, man.
That's right.
Everybody loves the backup quarterback. You're never going to be able to escape that. And if you're running from that smoke, you're going to be running from it forever.
Yeah.
You're going to be running from it forever. So play, don't play. Competition is the only way you get better, to me. Now, we talked a little bit about some off-season quarterback talk. Let's talk about who they picked up here so far. So got some good additions. Some stuff that I thought that we were going to need. First off, let's talk about Damon Payne. So that was an interesting little back and forth there yesterday with his commitment. 6'4", 315 out of Alabama. I think he's a fifth-year guy. Meat. Definitely what we needed, losing Mason Graham and probably Kenneth Grant. They're working on retaining Rayshawn Benny. That'll be a big piece. But I think since you're not going to have like all-time Michigan talent at that position next year, your next best thing would be to just stockpile bodies. And they have some of those on the roster. They're just
Mm-hmm.
young.
Yeah,
You know,
you need
they've
some.
got
You
they
need some
got who is out there? Trey Pierce. They got
Etta.
Eno
Yeah.
Etta. Yeah, is another guy you expecting to get better, hopefully.
He showed some promise this year.
They got a guy. They stole a guy from USC in the 23 class. He's a 300-pounder. And I can't think of his name right now. Um, but every time I saw him in like pre-games or like running out, I'm like, yo, if he don't play next year, he gonna hit the portal.
He
Because he
looks
one of
like
them,
that.
he like one of them 6'3", 315, 320. I'm like, bro, why is he not on the field? So
No,
I'm hoping guys like that kind of start taking spots. Let me see what it is.
because Payne to me is a depth. It's depth because he really didn't do anything at Bama.
Not
This is
statistically, nah.
last
No.
year was his junior year, and he's got what 30 tackles, 30 combined tackles for his career. 7 his freshman year, 9 last year. 9 last year, 14 this year,
Mm-hmm.
and a half a sack last year. He ain't
Yeah,
did much.
they didn't do a whole lot of anything. And again, it's more of, see, with him, I envision him playing a lot of 3 technique. So he gonna be playing head up or shading the guard to either side. I don't think he's going to be a guy who's gonna be playing a lot of nose.
Yeah,
Especially when you still got Rayshawn Benny and you may get Kenneth Grant back. You know, you're not
yeah,
expecting him to come in. He's a rotational player. So when they go bare, he'll be the 3 tech in there flanking Rayshawn Benny or whoever else, or Kenneth Grant, whoever's stout in the middle. So the production doesn't hurt me so much as, can he play his gaps? Does he have sound gap responsibility? That makes me feel good that he comes from
yeah.
Alabama.
Can he give a breather without giving up big
Yes.
plays?
Yes,
Or
that's my
not?
point. Can you be in the right spot when we need you to be? And then if
Yeah,
you make plays, that's a bonus. That's a
yeah,
bonus.
and that's what I took it as. Like, no, he's not a bona fide starter or anything, but you need depth on the line because
Yeah.
unlike Ohio State, Michigan likes to rotate guys.
Yeah.
You know, so
we got Mr. Payne there after the commitment, commitment, back and forth. That was annoying.
that was so crazy.
Damn, on 3. Who else? Where's the boy at? Brady Norton, the Cal Poly tackle, right? I think he was the number one pass blocking graded offensive lineman in the entire FCS last year. I know a lot of people scoff at that. I happen to remember a guy that Michigan picked up from the FCS a couple years ago, at least 2 years ago now, who had a bunch of sacks. He was an undersized guy, kind of overlooked, and now he's probably going to sneak into the first round of this NFL draft, and that's Josiah Stewart.
Yeah.
So if a guy can play, he can play. The level matters less when you don't have that type of production. When you have that type of production, the matter doesn't matter all that much to me.
Yeah. When he gets to this level, it's just about working. Put the work in.
Yep.
Put the work in to get better, you know.
I think he'll end up playing guard. But I mean, maybe he plays some tackle. I don't know. But he's 6'4", just under 300 pounds. I think he's like 290. Maybe he puts on about 20, 25 and slides inside. But I like it either way, especially with some of the other names that they're talking about here. We'll get to that in a moment. But him in combination with some of the other offensive line targets they have in the portal, I think it's going to line up pretty well. And then just obviously filling the holes where they're missing guys. Tristan Bounds, Dom Judice, obviously getting out of there. So they need depth as well in that room.
Yeah, and let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Because some people don't like the portal and, you know, getting guys like at running back in different position, getting guys that are probably going to come start or they'll be in the mix, making the young guy have to work. You have to feel positions of need or positions that have young players. You want somebody proven because a guy can be highly touted. It's the same as a quarterback. A guy can be highly touted, and just because it's his turn. He's just Jordan Marshall. He's a sophomore. He's highly touted, but we don't know how good he is. We don't truly know. So this is just how you have to do it now. If you don't, you're going to have growing pains, and who knows how bad it could be because this guy might be a bust.
And just like you were saying, we were talking about with the quarterbacks. It's not, you cannot build your roster to say, okay, we want Jordan Marshall to start next. So the next two running backs that we either recruit to this team through the portal or through high school recruiting are going to be less than Jordan Marshall. We're going to make sure we get a running back that's not as good as Jordan Marshall. Man, every cycle you are looking for a better and better player. And the players
Exactly.
understand that. They get that.
You
So
have to, and that's the game now.
Mhm.
Like the game has changed. People want it to be 2000s and early 2000s and
Man,
90s.
they haven't been
So
not recruiting people around you since like the early, like mid 2000s. Ain't nobody been doing that. These colleges want good players at every position because if you spurn them, they want to be able to say we don't need you. So ain't
exactly,
nobody promising. There aren't a whole lot of people promising you, and if they are, they're usually lying. They're usually like Brian Kelly or something.
exactly. So you have to, if nobody wants to not miss the playoff, it's 12 teams. If you have a year like we had last year, losing all those guys, we didn't go crazy in the portal, and it cost us this year. I mean, possibly because we couldn't, but either way, it cost us because we needed to kind of go crazy in the portal to to right the ship for this year, right?
Yep.
That's what we needed to do, like Texas did. You know,
Yep.
that's what we needed to do. We didn't. It's Ohio State. If they don't kind of go crazy in the portal, they might be in a similar
Yeah, they off
situation.
to a slow start, but
You
I'll let
know, because you're about to
I'll let
lose
Josh
a ton
explain.
of dudes.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, and if the schedule comes out like this year, and you got a hard schedule, you're about to get kicked in the nuts. And be
Yeah.
looking like us most of the year. It's
Yep.
what's gonna happen. So you have to. I know people like, man, he committed to Michigan. Give him his. We don't. The game has changed. We're trying to win. We're trying to be successful every year. We want to be in the
Yeah.
playoff.
And that doesn't happen unless those guys are pushed to their max. They don't get pushed to their max unless they have equal or better competition on the other side. You do not get
Exactly.
better playing inferior competition.
Yeah.
They are not going to max out on who they are going to be if they don't have to beat somebody to get where they want to go.
Exactly.
That's not even how life works.
Yeah, I just want to, because I know some people like Stephen Brown. Man, we recruit these guys, man, we'll build them within, and other people. I've heard it from multiple people, but if you want
No,
to
but that's how you build from
continue,
within. You don't build from within with softness. You don't protect the meat of your program by putting it in cotton. Iron sharpens iron. You
yeah,
you need as many highly touted athletes as you can possibly stuff into a room because that's what elite programs do. We
yeah,
cannot be afraid for a guy to come in here that we thought was going to start and him not starting.
man, it happens all the
You
time.
can't you cannot. That is football. That's what happens.
Yeah,
Guys get beat out all the time. You
yeah,
still want those guys there though, because that's a value to your team.
yeah. I just wanted to.
Nah, you right. You right. We'll do some quick hitters here on some of these guys. I know Donovan McCulley was a big name. He was the first one to come through. Long time coming, man. He probably should have been on his team last season. Uh, Maybe he'll even tell you that at some point he has an interview with Sam Webb or something like that.
Because he didn't. I looked up his stats. He didn't play much this year, right?
Not this year. The year before
Last
last,
year,
he got like 600 yards and 9
yeah.
touchdowns. This year, it just didn't.
Was
I
he
think
hurt this year or what?
so. I was watching Grant Perry break down his film. Grant said that in the Indy offense that they were running with Tom Allen, they were giving Donovan a lot of possession routes, a lot of sticks, a lot of curls, a lot of stuff that he can, get open and do well in. When Segnetti got there, everything sped up. A lot of now routes, a lot of nines, a lot of stuff that doesn't fit what Donovan does well. Right? They weren't using him as a possession receiver, and then some of those other faster guys kind of beat him out on the roster.
So he
So
got
Michigan wants to do kind of what Tom Allen was doing with them before and just splitting them out wide, having them run sticks and curls,
yeah.
by itself. And so he can eat up first downs. We need that. We need that for sure. So love that addition. Some of the things that I think coming up here, obviously, quarterback is going to be one with the Quan Finn, Mikey Keene, I think are the names that are still on the roster that or excuse me, not on the roster that are still in the portal that they're looking at. With those two, I think it's going to be DeQuan Finn For me, that's the way I would go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he shows the most upside. He's a really good athlete, and he's put some decent seasons together. I don't know what happened at Baylor. I don't know if they tried to make him into a different type of quarterback, but we want a guy who can make plays within the confine of the system. And
Yeah,
so when things break down for him, I don't think it's going to be very hard for him to make us right. That's what I
yeah,
like about DeQuan Finn. Mikey King, it feels like it's a little too much up and down, and he's not the athlete to me that DeQuan Finn is. So that's the
yeah.
way I would go in that regards.
Mikey King seems like he could be overwhelmed
Yeah,
at this level
yeah.
consistently. Because I look, he was up and down, playing the cupcakes, I
FIU
guess.
is that where he was at? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was struggling with them.
yeah.
But Finn, you know, he comes to play. You can see that he can play with guys on this level. You
He
can see
balled out in the horseshoe 2 years
exactly.
ago with Toledo. Yeah,
Exactly. So you can see it. And Chip Lindsey, he don't care how he moves the ball.
no,
He'll build the offense around whatever he's got. So if we throw for 300, he don't care. We run for 200. I run my quarterback.
Yep,
He doesn't care how it gets done.
yep. I like that about him. I like that. Um, so that's quarterback. Other offensive line picks that they're targeted for. They've got Josh Thompson out of Fenton, Michigan, the Northwestern transfer. I think they're in decent shape for him. Those two guys, him and Brady Norton at holding up our guard spots, and then they have the Washington State transfer tackle, number 2 tackle in the portal right now, who's just set a visit today with Michigan. They clear the racks with those Brady Norton, Josh Thompson, and I can't think of the other guy's name. It's a poly name, so I definitely can't. I'm not even gonna try that. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
butcher it.
Good luck.
I'm not even gonna mess it up. But he's 6'5", 315, big guy. I think we're gonna need a right tackle. At least Andrew Gentry was another name that went into the portal that I
Yep.
was
Yep.
hoping would stay, but he's gone. So we'll need some tackles. We'll need some tackles. We'll need to beef up the guards with Preeb going and El Hadi being really the only seasoned guy there. You're going to need some meat. Raheem Anderson is out as well.
Jeez.
So we'll see how that goes. But those are the 2 picks on the offensive line I'm looking at. And then wide receiver. I think we need one more wideout, be that a speedster or another big body. Have you been hearing the smoke about Zachariah Branch?
Yeah, we need him. We need him.
We need that in the
We need
worst way.
explosiveness.
Oh my God. Eat your heart out, Tyler Morris. See, I had it in my head that Tyler Morris was just gonna go out there. He gonna see what other people offering and be like, oh man, I might as well stay here in Michigan. Hey, buddy, you let Zachariah come over here. We might not have a spot. Because now you got Zachariah Smith, you got Samaj Morgan, you got Amarion Stewart, you got a lot of slots.
Yeah.
You got Fred Moore, who's probably gonna be
More.
moving inside now that you got taller receivers on the outside. You got a lot of slots.
I hate how they
Tyler,
use. I
you better
hate.
get on back in this class. You better get back on here.
I hate how they used Fred Moore this year. I really hate it.
They needed an outside threat, and he was one of the shiftier players. I think they thought maybe it would result in something, and
Some games you would see him. Other games, a couple more games, you wouldn't see him at
didn't
all.
see him at all. Yeah, he had
Like,
that one where he burnt that corner on that Alex Orgy throw on that fake outside zone. He pulled it back out, tossed it to Moore, missed it, and we never saw that play again all season.
that's the last. I
Never
think
saw
that's
it
the
again.
last deep bomb we saw.
We never saw it again all season. It was this close to making it was this close. Oh my God. So much pain from this season, man. So much lost opportunities.
It's mind-boggling. You never see it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got that's wide receiver. Justice Haynes is another name that's kind of floating around right now. The running back transfer from Alabama. Again, adding that guy to a room with Jordan Marshall and Ben Hall probably gives you either 1 or 2 on the top running back room in the Big Ten, depending on who comes back for Penn State.
You need that because
Yep.
if let's say we don't get him, then you're going into the next year with Ben Hall hasn't done much.
Yeah,
Jordan
yep.
Marshall hasn't done
Hasn't done
much.
anything. Yeah. Yep.
Capana hasn't done much. He looks like he
And
needs to
small.
add weight.
Yeah, he's small.
You see it too. Because when I
Yeah,
say it, people don't say anything. Like,
yeah,
bro, you see his arms look like twigs. He looks
he's
like a high
small.
schooler still.
Yeah.
You know?
He
And
looks,
so,
he looks like how Karan Higdon looked early on in his career.
yeah.
He looks
It
exactly how
took him a
Karan
while,
Higdon used to look in his
you
career.
know. And so, and honestly, what do we have? 2021, you had what's his name? Hassan Haskins
Hassan Haskins, yep.
carrying the load, Blake backing him up. Then you had Blake with Donovan backing him up.
Yep.
Then the same thing again, basically. Yep. You know, now you had Donovan. It should have been Khalil or Donovan and Khalil.
Yep.
You know, your seniors.
Yep.
You know, so that's kind of how it goes. So you know, you need that back that's proven something. You need that. If you know, sometimes you get a freak of nature. You get your Adrian Peterson or your Mike Hart.
You gotta take him. Yeah, you gotta take
him. Then you're lucky or blessed. You know,
yep.
like dang, this freshman or true sophomore can handle it, but you don't know just yet. So we need him. We need him.